Hi, and welcome back to the SWAN Pricing Show. My name is Filip Fucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I'm Filip Zobot. I'm the CEO and the owner of growth marketing agency Moyo. Welcome.
Welcome to today. We're going to talk about retainers, the different kinds, the different uses, the different dangers. And as we all know, when we were talking about retainers, we're only talking about dental retainers. That's the only kind, right? Right. Or no, I meant the lawyer's retainer, which is a pool of hours that once you spend, you then have to pay some more, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, the joke is everybody thinks that their retainer is the only retainer. And so there's bookkeeping retainers, and then Philip's favorite um marketing retainers, right? You love that one. So let's take it from the top. Tell us about what you like and dislike about marketing retainers.
There's a lot of things to dislike in that respectable realm.
It usually is.
Yeah. Who would say? Yeah, the point is what is happening. Okay, everybody is definitely thinking about their respectable business and business continuity and income, continuous income stream. But the point is, businesses and expertise-based businesses are overly focused on retainer as it is. The problem behind the story of retainer is the fact that businesses are being focused on the scope of the activity. So, okay, retainer for this respectable set of actions is this amount of money. Cool. But where are the tangibles? That is primary point and potentially the open window for objection and objection handling. My ideal case and scenario and how I set up the frame is that we completely put aside the story about the retainers. The point is that your respectable service in its scope costs this amount of whatever, United Dollars, pounds, whatever. And then you define with your respectable client and customer, they are able to pay you for the project implementation, the price in equal monthly installments. So there is no retainer. It is being called a retainer, but it is very clear in communication and business-wise, it was one and only service fee for your expertise business. Also, that approach manages one often seen challenge, and that is the fact I know from my experience, because I experienced that, and a lot of my colleagues, friends, and partners in expertise-based business, and you have that sort of experience also.
Yes.
If you communicate retainer fee and retainer fee only, providing your service to the client, what is happening? In the summer season, the client calls you, okay, Philip, we don't expect so much projects and open things on the table in the summer season. Can we pause the retainer? Impossible. That cannot happen. That can only happen if you're communicating retainers only, and that is your approach and paradigm how you manage business. But if you set up clear parameters and say that your service is cost this amount, and you're a great person and a true business partner and a friend who enables your client to pay your high ticket service or whatever in equal monthly installments to make it more easier for them, there are no gaps for that type of discussion and pausing the retainers and similar situations. So that is the approach I'm big advocate of, because the problem I mentioned is very often seen. Expertise-based business plus additional issue is there are no tangibles. The point is, if you're already being paid in the retainer fee format, you need to continuously provide and generate results. But a retainer is only a retainer, and that is your minimal level of engagement. You're opening entire realm and namespace for your respectable client for additional price objections. So you're practically betting against yourself in that business arrangement.
Yes, and I think this is the practical difference between let's say the SWAN type retainer, meant to be used for experience from expertise based non-commodified services and the commodified services, which we call the duck retainer, the duck world in this show. Because in the duck world, they pay for the retainer in order to get something tangible out. So I pay in my cleaning services as a retainer. They know they will get paid every month, and I know that my office is going to be kept clean.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like that in many parts of the SWAN world. So a really consultative retainer is nothing like this. So you get access to me. So if you pay me a retainer, we might have something semi-regular to meet, because some things are easier remembered or conveyed during a Zoom session or a Miro session or whiteboard session, right? But in general, what you're paying for is as you need to negotiate something or make some decision, you can get me. You can get me. We'll jump on a call, and I'll immediately, let's say, help you raise the your level of competence to the level of the problem. This is the idea, right? So what you're paying for is access. And yes, if you don't access, you didn't get much. However, these kinds of consultative retainers usually result in so much value once they're used that even if they're used twice a year, they're well worth the investment. That's the point, right? And you also can have things like a quarterly retainers. They don't have to be yearly. And so we can talk about the immediacy of results. I think you mentioned this in the pre-show, right? So tell me the dark side of the immediacy of results.
Yeah, the dark side is that the client's expectation is to get as fast as possible tangible results. And they, based on that, decide to go down with the retainer. And their calculation is, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, we'll be winning, we'll be getting an amazing set of value, whatever. On the other side, the expertise-based business, for example, the marketing agency, they're also happy with the retainer, and they accepted that gain, but they don't know what will be happening after first quarter. Red flag in the air. Okay, what is happening? Why we didn't achieve these results, etc., etc., etc. So the communication is a two-way street, and that is something which needs to be addressed properly. And all the commitments in expertise-based business should be a long-term defined and managed, because immediate results are the statistical error which can happen, but you cannot bet on that. The point is that if you want to scale your business, go international, do whatever, and actually get true and tangible results, that requires time. We all know that. Whoever has ever been in business, a business owner, a manager, whoever in the C-suite world has that experience. As said, immediate results are just a mere luck that can happen, and they don't, that kind of situation don't need to happen. So that is quite often the problem. And have that on mind. In a bunch of business corporations, cooperation is being ended after the first quarter of cooperation, because they don't have aligned expectations, and the communication wasn't clear, transparent enough, because both sides entered. The service provider needs money. Oh, we'll be lucky. And also on the other side, the client was expecting results. Finally, I think they can help us. We'll grow. We'll do amazing things in first quarter, and after that, they'll prove their worth, and everything will be going flawlessly. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So that is the problem.
Yes. Okay. The immediacy of the result is usually not possible to guarantee because of many things, and especially it's very hard to form. So if I've never planned a major brain surgery, I simply don't know what goes into that. So, okay, so you cut somebody's head open and then you, yes, well, it's, there's some steps beyond that, right? And somebody pays for a retainer, which means that they're going to pay no matter what happens. This is the client side. And then sometimes they often start not seeing what's happening because things are happening, but they don't see why they have to be happening. And why are you asking me all of these questions? I didn't expect that. I'll have to think. I can't think about that kind of a decision right now. So you wait for me for a week and then 2 weeks. And I still paid you, but you haven't done anything. No, you haven't done
Yeah.
But they don't see anything happening, and then they say, you know, I might give you something also else to do, so you have something to do since I'm already paying you. Because people have this this expectation, this mentality that says, if I don't see you working, you're not working.
Yeah.
Which is completely detrimental when we're talking about SWAN services, because when this is endemic in like the remote companies world, especially with developers, right? If he's not typing, then he's not working. That is absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Maybe he's talking to his rubber ducky. You know what I'm talking about? Programmers know what sometimes a problem cannot be solved until you tell it to somebody, even so with words, even if it's just a rubber duck on yours. So that's a proper technique taught to talk to have a rubber duck and to explain the problem to the rubber duck. Sometimes its silent answer is you're an idiot, and you will realize that while saying it something out loud, right? But that's not working. So a programmer doing this is working more than a programmer typing. So I was once called out. I was not on a retainer. I was employed, which is basically the same in this kind of jargon. And we had open space, and everybody could see everybody's screen. You know, hell, basically. So, and I of course had humongous earphones because I couldn't concentrate on anything. And I was looking at Amazonian birds, parrots. And so my, not just my boss, the boss showed up at my shoulder and like basically jokingly said, what the hell are you doing, man? So he called me out and I was annoyed. So I said, listen, we're not employing designer. We don't have a designer. We need to have a color scheme, and we only have the one color and white, and we simply don't have. So I need to make some presentations that look and or some materials. I need more than blue and white. Okay, so since I'm not a designer and you won't employ one, I'm trying to find natural pairs of colors that don't poke the eye. And the one thing that I can do is look how nature solved it, right? And kudos to the guy. He actually completely understood that he screwed up, and said just as loud as everything else, how about I never ask you again what you're doing? Because you're obviously self-driven, and I don't care. Do whatever you like. Just bring me results. And because he said it, and he put my headphones back and backed away. So not just he never questioned me again. Nobody else did because he said he wouldn't. But I was really annoyed at that because I was really hard at work here trying to work my way around a problem. But yes, people looking at my screen would say, "Oh, he's playing around with Amazonian birds." No. I was cleaning up somebody else's mess, right?
And actually trying to find the appropriate creativity, whatever, the idea how to
The
combine what you
answer,
needed for the moment. Yeah.
the answer. I was trying to figure out the answer the best way that I could. So this is the problem when you are retaining somebody whose job you don't understand. I was a marketing manager at the time. A marketing manager without I mean, we could obviously hire out designers, but it was not deemed a priority. And okay, so we're not paying anybody outside. I have to solve it myself. I don't know the first thing about visual stuff, but I know that colors on animals make sense. They don't poke eyes mostly if they're not designed to. So okay, I'll go with this, right? Anyway, clients, not just sometimes in SWAN situations, they often don't understand why something needs to be done. And if they feel like they're paying for something and they don't see the value, that's always a problem. That's always a problem. That's the expert's paradox. Because when you're an expert, you get hired by people who don't have that expertise, and that's by design. And then they don't understand what you're doing, and if they feel that you're paying for it, that's a problem, right? So you have a similar problem with tech support retainers or web retainers.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything about the modern web, you know that you have to constantly update stuff and tweak and, dance around in order for everything to stay the same. And the client opens up his web page and say, you didn't do anything. It's just exactly like it was last quarter, and I've been paying you all quarter. You're not doing anything. If they weren't doing anything, your site would be down because the internet changed slightly, but enough. The internet changed enough that your site would be down. The fact that it's not down, so it's not a house, right? It's not a house. It's tap dancing cloud is a web page, right? It's not you build it and then I can see it. It's here. You didn't do anything. Yeah. No. The fact that you can see anything means that I've been doing something for the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to explain, and then even with ours, we tinkered with your website for 3 hours. What did you do? I don't see anything. Yeah, you wouldn't, because we did everything right?
It works, obviously.
Also with financial retainers, like accounting retainers, where there's always stuff to be filed, but not necessarily stuff that you need. You take on an accounting retainer so that you don't have to know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So you not knowing what's happening, that's you receiving the service. If you knew what was happening, then you would also have to think about this and that, and providing and disclosing and highlighting and calculating. And if you don't need to do that, and everything is fine, and you just forget that you have accounting, that means that you're getting
that is the ideal case and scenario, both service-wise and when you have people working for you in the company, etc. If a person is a professional, standalone, and self-driven, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, that's it. That is the desired state.
Yes. Legal retainers, like I said, I think they're often quoted, but I think they're one of the worst made, because for the client, this means I'm going to pay for an amount of hours whether I use them or not. But if I use too much, I have to pay more. Now, this sounds logical to a lawyer. However, to the client, that means they lose both ways. If they don't use it, they still pay for it. And if they do, if they really need you, they can't count on this being the final bill for you. They don't know how much your time is going to cost. So because a retainer makes sense when it limits the risk on both sides. So I know as a client how much am I going to pay for a service, and you know how much money you're going to get for a service. And that makes sense. This is why it's not the same thing as employment, but it's the most similar thing to unemployment, right? Especially if it's a year long. I happily provide 3-month retainers, because some of the things that I work on, usually to clients which first go through my whole deal, which is indefinite in time. It has to end with them making a sale at the price which I indicated. But from then on, if there's something to do, there's usually many things that we can do, many directions that we can go, and these are simply not going to show anything within a month. But in 3 months, it's possible. And then at the end of 3 months, we can say, oh, this was good, or oh, this was not good. And it's fine. But 1 month is not going to do anything, because nothing will get done, nothing will get. So they don't have to be year-long in order to be retainers, right? So some retainers function like subscription fees. Some, like yours, function like a payment plan.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a payment plan that you call a retainer.
Yeah.
And some are here because you want to be sure that an appropriate amount will be done. Some are here because you don't want to think about you want something to simply be done off screen, right? So some cover different kinds of services completely. So like a virtual assistant retainer, that's a person who will basically try to find work for them after a while. So they're going to do, I don't know, email management, scheduling, travel arrangements, data entry, administrative duties, in some cases, arranging of some private stuff. So arranging that flowers reach your spouse, or a gift reaches a client in another country. I don't know if I said, yeah, travel arrangements. I said so. So all of the odd jobs, right? And as opposed to lawyers or dentists, one that will clearly cover just one type of service that you can rely on, or as opposed to a consulting retainer that will only ever contain advice. So when I do these kinds of retainers, I usually say, I'm not promising you a stream of deliverables. The deliverable is you knowing what to do when you need to do it. You getting the advice that you need. So the deliverable, it will be in your head only, right? I've seen coders, developers, having retainers where they say, the only code that I will produce for you in this kind of a thing. So no production code comes from me. You can have proofs of concept. You can have, okay, so this is how this is solved, but this is not something that is built in, something that I'm going to debug. No. You get a solution, and then you have your own people implement it and put it to production and debug it and do whatever you like with it. It's your code. It's just my solution. but you cannot press me to now debug this within your system and, you know, make a no, because then it's the tradesman's retainer. Then it's the other, right? I think we've said enough about retainers for one day.
I think also. We
where-
covered the topic quite well, I must say. Yeah.
Tell me, where can people find you?
People can find me on LinkedIn and also on my consultancy page, philipzulota.com, and my agency page, maoyo.agency.
People can find me more and more on the fearless-pricing.com and of course LinkedIn. This was good. Thank you, and see you next time on the SWAN Pricing Show.
Take care. See you. Bye.